Steam is a wonderful thing, a digital gaming marketplace and vault, holding countless virtual adventures and experiences, often with very fair prices, helmed by a company which for the most part seems to keep its customers' needs in mind. Despite this, Valve have made plenty of mistakes with Steam, paid mods, various issues with keys, Steam Greenlight, and of course, the biggest one which doesn't seem to be going anywhere, early access. On the drawing board, early access should work. It solves two major issues which independent developers face. The first being that most small developers cannot fulfill the quality assurance side of game creation due to not having the funds to hire a team of professional testers. Early access allows the gaming community to chip in and help finish that final phase of development. The second is that many small developers have big dreams but not enough cash to finish the project. If they feel that they do not want the risk of a business loan from a bank, cannot find independent investors, or would not make it on a crowdfunding site, it offers a simple way for them to present a working demo of the game, make some money and finish development. Finally, it should additionally benefit gamers. Many will get a cut price version of the game in return for helping out early in development, and their voices and reports will help mould the game into what it should become. However, this is not the reality. In my mind, there are now a few different camps that you can easily place the vast majority of early access titles into. The first is games that are pretty much done and genuinely want to go through a beta period, get some testing out of the way, and crucially, fix any issues which would stop the game getting good review scores. This is important because many websites don't review games until they are out of early access. They're using it as a marketing tool, but not in a bad way. They want their game to succeed, and game development is after all a business. It seems that there are games like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds which tread this line, being counted for all intents and purposes as a full game, yet still technically exist in early access. A lot of these can end up coming out quite good. Games like Subnautica went through an early access period and now are very highly rated. For these games, the system works perfectly. The next categories are the main ones which get on my nerves. The first is people which maybe develop 10% of a game, make as much money as possible promising the world, and then run for the hills. These games then remain a husk on Steam, with people who have purchased the game effectively left with a demo that will never go anywhere. Some of these are absolutely shameless, simply existing as little more than assets bought from various stores, cobbled together, and then put on the store as a glitching, crashing mess. There is a litany of games on the Steam store like this, many completely abandoned forever. One example is on screen now, Minimon, an incomplete, buggy mess. Now I don't think every developer which abandons their game did set out to do this. I think there are plenty which simply bite off more than they can chew, and end up in an impossible situation. I do feel somewhat sorry for them, but ultimately they took people's money, promising to deliver a product that they could not deliver. These two actions verge dangerously on fraud. They always feature plenty of disclaimers saying some finished product, so whilst it may not be illegal, it is most definitely immoral. Famous examples like this include DayZ, which I'm sure the developers set out wanting to make a good game, but now exists in a sorry limbo, with the reviews on the page being absolutely scathing. According to Steam Spy, there are 2,277 games currently in early access, and a further 1,223 games which were previously in early access but have since received a full release. This makes up the not insignificant amount of around 18% of all games released on Steam. I think this issue is only going to grow, and Valve really needs to step in and sort out the system before consumer confidence is completely eroded. I can personally think of a few ways in which they could sort this out. The first would be to offer a better solution to developers which want to simply get some testing and feedback for their game, which is in the final stages of development. Essentially, they should be able to open up the game for a free beta to perhaps a few thousand or so people that they can work with closely. No money is involved, a few gamers will get a free game, and the company will get some valuable information. The second, for the companies which need money to complete development, require one of two things. Either the games are far more readily curated, ensuring that they are at least a certain percentage through before they can be in early access, and that it is judged that they have the resources and capability to deliver a game on time, with specific deadlines which they must meet to stay on the store. This would essentially place Valve in the place of a publisher which does not receive any profit. I can't see them going down this route, as Valve are historically laissez-faire. The other option would be a stronger position for the consumer, essentially placing them as investors in the project, with a guaranteed percentage of the final release and stronger powers over the game's place on the store. If it becomes abandoned, they can vote that it gets removed from sale. An investor-style relationship would mean that the games would probably be sold at a far higher price initially, but it could solve the money problem for the companies and require them to present a better case than they are at the moment for why people should invest in their game. It's still possible that the games can be abandoned and people could lose their money, but I like to think that in this sort of situation, people will take far greater scrutiny before spending their money and keep the developers under pressure to return on their promises. Too often, people are taking advantage of gamers' generosity. Early access, Kickstarter, Indiegogo have all fallen down to Ponzi schemes, either by people that just want to run away with the money, or by companies that could easily get a business loan from a bank or an investment of their own, but just don't want to take the risk and just want some free money and marketing. Valve really need to take some steps forward on this. Doing something as simple as separating out early access entirely from the main store so it doesn't devalue fully released games would be a help, but I don't see any indication they're taking this problem seriously. Well, this was my little rant. Perhaps you feel completely differently about early access and feel that it is actually working fine, or perhaps know of a solution which I haven't mentioned. I'd like to get a discussion going on this subject, so please comment below with your thoughts. Goodbye!